has been the third segment of my stream today. First, I just was doing an etude, and I did scales on my own, which I didn't stream. Then working through the Haydn Concerto with metronome at the speed, at the tempo that I am going to bring to my piano lesson tomorrow. And now I'm going to be focusing on one specific spot in the recapitulation of the concerto, where the tempo it fell apart under the tempo. So it'll require slower practice and looking at it under a microscope. And then I'll move it to the cadenza. I'll be doing this with my camera. So this will be a little bit more of an interactive stream. Questions are, if you're in the stream now, you can ask your questions, or this is you have this after the fact in the live stream on my YouTube channel. Feel free to ask a question as well. So this concerto, for those of you unfamiliar with the structure, a piano concerto generally, especially from the classical period, has a sonata allegro form. So that means that there's three sections. One is called the expedition. It's funny, I'm thinking, I don't know why the word is not expedition. Hold on. Exposition, there you go. I don't know why I thought exposition. And then the development, which includes elements from the exposition, is usually modulates to more keys than the exposition does. And then the recapitulation, which comes back to the home key and finishes the piece out with or the movement out rather, with really no new material. It's all just from the exposition and maybe some from the development. That's the general structure. So let's look at I'm going to be looking at the recapitulation right now. And the part that's specifically, well, there's one part here where my hands were not quite getting to the correct notes. So I'll look at that, and then I'll go to the part with the 16th note arpeggios. So that's the plan, and hope that you enjoy. Okay, that was one spot from that page, which seems okay now. And now I'm going to go to the part that needs probably the most work here. There's a lot of chord changes here in this specific spot while doing arpeggios. And it was a bit sloppy earlier today, so I'm going to fix it, and I'm sure it'll be better. So it'll require some slow practice, and then we'll use the metronome to gradually get the tempo up also. But first, let me practice it at a slow tempo. So that's one spot, the transition between to the arpeggiated part. That is not smooth, so I'm going to practice that one specific spot now. Okay, with a little bit of attention, it's now just fine. I slowed it down, and then I was able to focus on the dynamics. So it actually does a while the melody descends in pitch, it actually goes into a crescendo. So let me try again with a proper musical inflection. Okay, I'm satisfied with that transition. Now, excuse me. The next part is about 2 pages of arpeggios. So I won't talk much, but you'll hear me slowing down, playing the chords like just the harmonies, and or just our hands separately, so that this section can come off cleaner. So it at fast tempo, it won't be that. It'll be much faster, but it'll go much faster. So each harmony there's a slight change in note or in the harmony. Sorry, each beat has a slight change in harmony. So it's really important to be accurate and have total comfort before speeding it up. And then the next few measures were easier because there were three beats in the measure that were it was the same harmony in the right hand, and then the only the fourth beat had a change. So that I could do it at the tempo I wanted. Now I'm going to do just the first page with the tempo that I want right now that I'm aiming for. See how that goes, and then I'll go to the second page here of these arpeggios. Okay, I think it's definitely cleaned up a bit. So if you polish something, clean it up, you leave it for a bit. The transition, I made a mistake there between the two parts, but then I fixed it. So I think I'll come back like tomorrow and see how its health is. But I think I've improved it quite a bit with just a few minutes um, of focus practice. So okay, I'm gonna go to the next page and see how that fares. So it's a bit sloppy at this tempo. I'm not going to say it's bad or I'm bad. That's not true. It's better to differentiate when you're practicing. Quick tip: don't don't put yourself down when practicing. Okay, that's actually quite an important detail. You say the playing is sloppy, but once I focus on the practicing and I clean it up, it will sound good because I'm because I will make it sound good. Like that's part of is who I am. I will make it sound good, and people will enjoy it. So it's like it, yeah. So there you go. So never be ashamed of bad playing unless you really didn't prepare and you weren't doing any work. Then you have to say, well, you deserve to feel bad because you didn't put the work in, because it's a lot of work, right? It's careful work. So, what I'm trying to say is that bad playing is not necessarily mean bad player, and differentiating that when you're practicing, when you're alone and no one is watching you, it's easy to get stuck in your head. So so psychologically, this is a lesson in psychological attitude. I know that like I'm streaming on Twitch.tv. This will be on YouTube forever. And in 5 years, I'll look back and think, oh, I played like that. Wow, that wasn't as good as I can play now, but that's where I was then. But then I kept working, and this is where I am now. I think it's really important to honor your process. This is for anything in life, and if it doesn't sound the way you know it should, don't call yourself a bad player. Just say it's bad playing, but that can be fixed with work, which is what we're doing now. Okay, so in the second page, again, there was just chords that are just changing quite a bit. So I'm going to take a similar approach as before. When you're practicing, another thing to do is watch for patterns. So in the first page of this arpeggio section, um, only the upper notes are really changing a lot. But here, the upper and lower notes are changing, and they're actually alternating between the upper and lower part of the hand. So upper here, it'll change to here, and then it'll change here, and then this changes, and this changes. So that's the pattern I'm noticing. Now I'll go back, slow play it again, just in the harmonies, and then I'll uh, try and get the tempo up. Good. Okay. Now that was easy. Before I was struggling with changing from the one chord to the next, um, and then there it felt simple and easy. Mainly because it was good practicing. See, good player, bad sound. Good practicing, good sound. It's not about the player. It's like Top Gun. It's not about the plane. It's about the pilot. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, here when I'm speeding it up to the tempo that I want, it's not smooth. So let me bring it down in tempo temporarily and go from there. Good. Now I'm at the tempo that I want. There's just one particular transition between two phrases that's not working perfectly. And yes, I found the culprit was a different pattern from the rest of the movement, which was the alternating between right and left hand changes. So that helped me identify the problem like that, helped me solve it quickly. So let me go to the next, to just this one little transition. And then I think that from there, we'll see how it goes. See if I can play the recapitulation at the tempo that I like. And then from there, we can go to the cadenza. Okay, that was nice and smooth. So I just identified the chords, kind of fiddled with it a bit, thought, what is it that makes me a little bit struggle with this one transition? And it was just having a G sharp diminished seven, which is um, the seven in A major. That's the diminished seven based on the leading tone, going to A7, so it's an applied chord in D major. And just the actual voicing of the chord was unexpected. My fingers expected to go to an A instead of a G natural, which is there's the A is in the bass. So that's all that was happening, and now it seems better. Okay, now actually it's not bad at all. It's sort of at the tempo that I want. There's one beat that didn't go right between A7 and D there. I'll practice that, and then when you're flipping pages like that, um, something is lost, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. It's not hard transition there. It's just flipping the page in time. Excuse me. Okay, so we're still working on this. It's almost there. Yeah, there you go. There's just one place where my hand is incumbent to stretch, stretch more on just the fourth beat. So it's like here, and then it stretches, and then it has to go in. So when the hand goes stretches and has to come in quickly, that just requires I'm not doing it totally smoothly. It's not perfect. So I need to just focus on that one small spot. See how little effort it takes to fix problems. Half of the problem is just identifying the problem itself. If you think I feel like, oh, I'm screwing up here. Um, an earlier me would be like, oh man, I'm bad. I suck. Oh man, no one wants to hear me play. That's not productive practicing. Actually, the most productive practicing is to say, okay, the standard is I can do this and I can do it well. That's just simple, the standard. And then from there, you think, okay, well, then from that framework, what's going wrong? Well, I identified that it was just something technical in my hand. This one page has a lot going on in it, more than this is probably the hardest page of the concerto of the movement, I'd say. Um, yeah, so that's why it requires a little bit of extra work and time. Let me go through it now with the metronome, make sure it's good. Okay, so the part I wanted to fix is fixed. I started in a place where I'm not used to starting, so it felt awkward for my hands. But that's good. It's good to do that so that you get used to starting in different places. And then switching page was it decreased the quality as well. There's an F sharp that you have to get in right on the fourth beat and then switch the page. So it might make sense to omit the F sharp unless you have a page turner or a tablet or something. It's really hard to go at a really fast tempo, like 1, 2, 3, 4, bop, 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 and then like really fast to that. It's just not possible. So I may have to omit the F sharp when I am playing with my teacher tomorrow because I won't have someone switching the page for me. Okay, well, I think that is good enough for now in terms of this one page. Now I'm going to bring it back to the beginning of this section and make sure it's good. And then we'll make sure that the rest of the recapitulation is good. Okay, so I wasn't happy with I was happy with some of the work I did, but the actual this page that we were just on wasn't as smooth as it needed to be. There was a few little errors which I'm not particularly thrilled about. So I think that this is the tempo that I wanted to bring to my teacher tomorrow. It's kind of like the half tempo. Last week when I was practicing this piece, it was like the slow tempo, the learning tempo, and this is the where do I suck tempo, and then after that it's the performance tempo. All right, so this is still a bit wobbly. It was enough to be able to kind of fudge through it a bit, but it's not as precise as it should be. So um, it's only been 30 minutes. I was planning on streaming about 90 minutes or so before I have class. So I think I'll spend another few minutes on this page. It really deserves to be given all the love that it deserves. That's not a good sentence. It really deserves. It needs love in order to get it better, which means that my care and attention needs to go into this page a little bit more. So let's actually let's go run through it again. So what I'm doing now is I was only focused on the right hand. Now I'm looking at the left hand. See, things didn't work perfectly I wanted. I thought, well, the left hand needs a little the microscope. Okay, so what I have this we have the descending there da 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 very uh, Bachian, I suppose. It's just a descending scale into into the dominant. Yes, right? Yeah, da, 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 yeah, down to A. So then the A is the then we have a dominant pedal of A in the bass. So I should write that down. Dominant pedal point. So it descends from some G. So from if you take an A7 chord here, then it just descends from G to the A. I'll show you. That's over the course of like eight. One, two, yeah, okay, maybe four, maybe six measures where it does that. So finding patterns is another way to solve problems. So the left hand has found the pattern is just descending G to A. Very simple, which makes, again, an A7 outline. And do does in thirds because dum bum 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 bum. Okay, that's what the left hand is doing. Let's see if that helps my right hand know where it should go. Now that the left hand is certain. No, I guess not. Hold on, let's do it again. Okay, yes, it was better. When I got that left hand pattern understood uh, cerebrally in the analytical harmonic pattern, and excuse me, then the right hand became smoother. That's what I was hoping for. So I'm going to run through it one more time, then we're going to continue to the next page. Now, just that one spot when this descending pattern starts in the right hand is where the confusion is for my body. So I'll just have to practice right hand and then go into it. It's a little frustrating, but not a big deal. It will be cleaned up. Not a it'll be fine. Okay, now I'm feeling happy because I looked the right hand again in detail again, and the work is compounded, and I was satisfied with being able to play the tempo I wanted for today. Anyway, and yet this page has more complexities. Does more than in any other part of the piece. So it just required more microscopic look and deep understanding of what the minute specifics are in the harmony and left and right hand. It's quite beautiful music, and actually, interestingly enough, when I started learning this a few weeks ago, I thought this is the most beautiful part of the entire movement. This is my favorite part, and now I understand why. Now that I'm looking and practicing it, is because it's harmonically the most complex. Actually, no. Harmonically, it's not complex, but it's more has more polyphonic parts. Meaning, there are really three voices here. The right hand is divided this now into two parts: the upper part here, and then the thumb, and then the thumb like the alto voice, And then the left hand also has its own part. So it's more contrapuntal than other parts of the piece. I think that's what makes it interesting. So there you go. I think we'll go to, and then again, I was right not to play the F sharp because I had to switch the page so quickly. No one will notice the difference. It's not there. And then let's see how far I can get at this tempo on the last two pages of this movement here. Okay, good. That was mostly satisfactory, I thought. Um, Messing up in the strangest place is an easy E minor chord there. Not chord, but an easy E minor um, motive there. It wasn't, it's not hard, but I think it wasn't articulated correctly because there's a slur. And then the octaves, descending octaves needs a little bit of work, but that wasn't so bad actually. Good, so we're almost an hour in, I think. And then there'll be time for the cadenza. Good, 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 good. Yes, very good. This has been very productive. Very productive. Okay, these octaves things are a bit sloppy, so they need to be cleaned up. Okay, it's quite fun here because it's the this is the apex of the piece dynamically. Yes, these octaves are quite exciting. Although I think it's not. I think I'll try doing it a little faster just for fun. Kind of forcing me to memorize it, so that's okay. It's not great because it's too fast, but I'm having fun. No, 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 no. Terrible, terrible. Okay. Okay, that there's an example of when you jump the horse, when you're like, okay, it's inaccurate, but I'm having fun. I want it to be fast. No, and then it's just sloppy. All right, well, that's okay. That's now if I think that a big mistake that people make are they get there and they just keep pushing that tempo and hopefully it'll work, it'll work, it'll work. No, 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 no. That's where you say, okay, you have to put your ego behind and say, okay, yes, I can play that fast, but let's slow down first. So that's what I'm going to do. Because you could see when I was like, I'm having fun, yeah, yeah, I'm going to push it. And then I was like, no, it actually got worse. So let's fix this. Is so the this starts out as a D minor natural descending scale in the right hand, and then it goes to an E flat chromatically, which is flat two, and then down to D, and then it does the harmonic minor, D minor harmonic. So that's what's happening. When I think of it that way, it should make it easier to play. Let's see. Okay, then the left hand is ascending and doing a chromatic um, sort of visit to D major instead of D minor with the F sharp, and then it just stays in D minor for the rest of it, up and down to C sharp, which is D harmonic minor. So I think the confusion why I was having a hard time making it faster was the little oddities of kind of tonally moving to D major over D minor, and then the two different types of uh, minor scales being used, the natural and harmonic minor. So once you kind of analyze it a bit, then it becomes clear in your mind. If the music is not clear in your mind, it's harder to play. Now that it's clear in my mind, let's see how it goes. Okay, it was a little bit better. So I think just practicing over. Let me get the metronome and keep drilling it. Okay, it seems that I could now. It's better than it was 5 or 10 minutes ago, and I can play it at my intended tempo for tomorrow's piano lesson with my teacher. So I think that that's we don't. There's no point in spending too much time on it because until I want to push the tempo up more. I'm already feeling myself anxious to want to get it to final tempo um, because it's such a lively piece. The final tempo, I think, is something like this. Yeah. One, two, three, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, so the tempo for this is like moderato slash allegro, whatever you and your conductor decide upon. Now let's go back and look at the tempo marking at the beginning. This is vivace, which just means lively. So yeah, allegro, high moderato, maybe some allegro is a good tempo. Okay, but again, this is a practice tempo. It's not a final tempo. For time's sake, I'm done for the recapitulation for now, and then it's time to look at the cadenza, which is beautiful. I didn't write. I'm not going to write my own cadenza here. I'm going to just use the one I have. But maybe I'll improvise a little bit on it, and I'll take a short break and come back in a few minutes. Hope that you're enjoying. I'm just going to take like 5 minutes to rest so I can refocus on the cadenza, and I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I'm just eating some nuts here. It's important in your practice sessions to, to take breaks, frequent breaks, because practicing is very intensive. It burns a lot of calories, and especially from one section to another. Now I've rested a bit, and I can go to the cadenza. So I feel that all that I did in the recapitulation is now sort of um, consolidated, and my body will remember what went on. It was quite good work, and then I'll come back either later today or most likely tomorrow morning to make sure everything is, all the corrections were there. And now the fun part is learning this cadenza, which is still quite under construction, so it's a bit hairy right now, but it's a good opportunity to show how you take one page of music and focus on specific measures or spots that might be harder than others. So I'll show you what I mean. And welcome to the channel. NB Dan, Beethoven, Opus 49, number 2. Wonderful. Well, Beethoven is one of my favorite composers, so that's awesome. I was practicing a prelude and fugue, a four-voice fugue. Oh, awesome. The Well-Tempered Clavier is probably one of the greatest works. Probably the 32 Beethoven sonatas and the Well-Tempered Clavier are the greatest works ever written for piano, I think, and maybe the Chopin etudes. In terms of learning, in terms of education and learning, I'm not saying the other pieces are worse. I'm just saying this kind of like the main things. So that's great. And thanks for dropping by, and thanks for the chat. You didn't press the continue button. Oh, I was just saying that the cadenza is under construction, and that it's a good opportunity to show how we can have one page of music, and you don't focus on every measure equally. For example, this one spot for speed will be the hardest because of the configurations here, and then other parts are much easier. So I'll show you with the easy spots first instead of a slower tempo, and then I'll go to the harder part and drill that part a bit by analyzing maybe the harmonies and slow practicing. It may not sound like fun, but it's really the necessary work that one has to do to learn a piece well. Because when you're a pianist, you really you have to look at the architecture of the piece, and you have to look at the blueprint, find patterns, and then get it into your body, which is the hardest part, the kinesthetic aspect of it. So it's body and mind, right? Okay, so here we go. This first part is sort of more is free, and then I'll play some of the easier parts of the cadenza, and then I'll skip the harder part. Then I'll go to the harder part. So in that one part, just the end there, going from there to the scale, I think it doesn't feel natural to go immediately. In the cadenza, there's no bar lines. So here I'm just going to write like a little rest sign, fermata actually, and try it again. Or that's what's these? That's the first part. I liked the. I don't think that I was playing it in time properly. I was just having some fun free. So I need to look at the timing there. and then I liked how I started doing a crescendo, and then I liked the fermata I added. So in the cadenza, is the one place in the piece where you can improvise a bit and you can interpret the piece more freely. So let's try it again. Okay, here in the music, although you can't see it, there's a diminuendo sign. So I'm going to experiment with musically what this phrase should be doing, okay, and see if I agree with what they wrote. Yeah, I don't know if I like what they wrote. It feels more. Hmm. I don't know if I like what they wrote exactly, but it seems a little unnatural to diminuendo while the rhythm gets faster. So maybe let's put a question mark and figure out the exact detail later. Okay. Yeah, it just to me, because it gets faster. It goes blah 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 blah. It seems that it should get louder. So the editors, it wasn't Haydn, but the editor who wrote that. So I'm gonna actually put a different sign there and see what sticks. And then what I would do is listen to a recording as well. So when interpreting classical music, it's really important to um, if you have your own idea, you should check it with professional ideas as well. For example, there's some great recordings of this concerto, but the pianist writes their own cadenza, and I can't compare this cadenza with that. Or they use Wanda Landowska's cadenza. I know you can't see the measures. I know it is sad. Um, I don't have a way. What I need, and then what I need is another camera. I'm a new streamer. This is like my second or third week streaming. So what you're saying is exactly what should be on the screen, and I apologize that it's not. I figured I should just get the stream up and start doing it, and then see how things go, and seeing what the rhythm is, how often I stream, what I stream. So I give you my sincerest apologies that it's not there. I can tell you that this is the cadenza of the Haydn Concerto in D, which is easy to find on IMSLP. So that is something that will come in the future. So thank you for your patience on that, and thanks actually for pointing that out. Excuse me, sorry. I'm going to take a screenshot so that I can remember to. And thank you for your very polite um, way of telling me what the stream needs. I appreciate that. So I took a screenshot, and I will make sure to include another in this type of scenario where I'm teaching. I'll make sure to include another camera. I just have to kind of stick it in and put it here on the piano and arrange it in a specific way so that you can see it to figure out how to do that. Okay, so that is something that will come in the future. And then for now, to finish my thought, I've made a different musical choice on the paper than that was on the paper because it's a cadenza. I think it's okay, but I'm going to listen to one or two recordings where the pianist plays from this cadenza, Haydn's one, rather than having written their own. Okay, so now we're going to move on. Yeah, this is just it's a scale, nothing to worry about there, and then we keep going. That's A7, and then it goes to D. Okay, so whoopsies. Here now what we're dealing with is just A7 to D, and then we have a simple scale. So it was 30-second notes and going to 16th notes, and with thirds in the right hand. So that's what I was coordinating. It's not too hard, but it was a little bit sloppy at first. And then just a simple descending scale. Okay, so that is a part that isn't too bad, not too hard. The next part is probably the hardest in the cadenza. I'll skip it for now, and let's go to near the end so you can hear that. And then I'll probably have to end the stream as I have class pretty soon. Well, this cadenza needs it honestly needs a lot of work. Um, I have to kind of work through it and slow practice it a bit. But this stream is more of a sort of a teaching and a demonstration. So that some of that work needs to be done probably without camera and commentary because I don't think it's entertaining to see slow practice is what I'm realizing. The cadenza I just started yesterday, so it's a little bit rougher than the rest of the concerto. So I think that it's not very attractive to see someone just kind of slug out slow practicing. So that's unfortunately what's necessary in this. It's really just under construction. So from there, I'm really appreciative of your company and of your questions. I'll be ending the stream now because I don't think I can provide really entertaining or very teach-worthy content right now because this cadenza is just it's not it's too all over the place. Okay, so but I will be back with it later when it's learned better, and then I'll be able to explain it more. So I apologize about that. But thanks for joining, and I hope wherever you are in the world, you are having a great day. And then bye for now from Poland. And I actually have to get to class soon. I go to music school here, and yes, so you guys have.